big thank you to Travis from the Omni AI Film Festival. Editor's note, though this interview was conducted via a video chat, I failed to record the call and failed to get the first few seconds of the interview on audio.
Some of these films that are coming out, but one that is getting a lot of attention is called The Patch Right, which was produced by a guy named Zach London, who heads up a studio called Gossip Goblin, which is a great name. But The Patch Right is part of a world that he's building with these characters, and it is completely immersive. You go into the story recognizing that it's an AI film, like most of these, and then you immediately surrender yourself to the storyline, and that's what you want.
Indeed. Well, you want that with any movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so what exactly is the Omni International Film Festival? What's it all about? When was it founded?
Great question. Yeah, so Omni International Film Festival was founded in 2024. So we really set up with the premise that we would, really try to open the door and understand what was happening with AI film. This was we felt it was early on. We were thinking that it would just be a few entries. My founder, my co-founder Aryeh, who's not here, and myself were the two people that started it, and we're working on it all the time. But when we opened the door for entries, we expected we would get maybe 20 or 30 entries, and maybe have one or two that were worth showing and discussing about. We had almost 1,000 entries with the first film festival and the first call for entries, which that was phenomenal. And really, at that point, we were looking at it really as the technical exercise. But what we had to quickly adjust as we were judging these nearly 1,000 films was, looking at them in the film and cinematic context, which is exactly what we were talking about. Is it a story? Does it convey, something? Does it bring the viewer along on a journey? Does it have emotional connection? Does it have something that resonates with the viewer and the audience? And because of that, we initially were like, wow, we're going to have to do this a little bit more often than once a year. We're going to have to do it every 6 months. And we've been doing it a ton. This is our 5th major call for entries and our 5th competitive showing. Yeah.
And you've got that thing in the Outback coming up in a few days, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's in Winton, Queensland. It's Omni Outback. It's part of the Vision Splendid Film Festival, which is an incredible film festival that takes place deep in the Outback. The directions that the director of the Vision Splendid Film Festival gave me directions. He said to get there, you go to Brisbane and turn left, and you go another 1,000 kilometers.
Pretty basic directions. Earlier in the year, I seem to remember that the Academy Awards banned AI films from the Oscars award contention, being considered for an Oscar. What are your thoughts? Will this ban ever be lifted?
Yeah, who knows? I think that's one of the things that we're seeing really it's an interesting time right now. And I think what happens and what we're seeing is we have a chance for a new auteur cinema to grow. And we have an opportunity for filmmakers who could never afford film crews or film sets or maybe even just a film camera. We have opportunities for filmmakers to tell stories, and these are new stories from the edge. The thing that studio model is built on a whole system of production that has worked for 100 years, and that's great. It's worked really well. A lot of the award systems, the Academy, lots of cons. These award systems are supported by these studio systems, and that's totally fine. I think that's one of the things that has made Omni more important, because we come with the label on the box. These are AI films. These are AI films made by human directors who are skilled. This is quality, and you don't have to go diving through YouTube trying to search up what's the best. Yeah.
Will we ever have, well, remember Max Headroom, back in the 80s? Will we ever have an AI film star?
Yeah, I think that's totally likely. I know that there are there's actually some Australian creators here who are making AI film characters. One of them is, I think his name is Bruce Ryder. I may be getting the name incorrect, but this is an Australian creative production team that's launched a character named Bruce Ryder, which is very compelling and very charismatic AI character. One other version of this that we're seeing more of is kind of the hybrid model of what this looks like. And so we actually have a creator that we're working really closely with. Her name is Jenny To, T-O. She's based in Hong Kong. Mm-hmm. And what she does is she digitizes herself. She scans herself, photos herself, animates herself, motion captures, I believe. I'm not sure about the motion capture part. But she is the main character in her films.
That kind of sounds like what was going on with the Headroom series, without the downloading of the consciousness.
Yeah.
On average, roughly how much would it cost to produce an AI film compared to, the latest action movie seen at the cinema?
Yeah, obviously we know that, like Hollywood films have a notoriously huge budgets. A lot of that is tied to, great acting and great IP that gets associated with these things. Great marketing, huge marketing campaigns that rolls out. One of the things that's important about these films is it's kind of similar to this beautiful analogy of the phone. Uh-huh. And the phone being, this is, 4K, this is, MOV, this is cinema grade, I'll put that in quotes, quality filmmaking in your pocket that basically everybody has access to. I think it's kind of similar. So with these AI tools, there are tools that can do these things that are, openly accessible, that are lower cost. There are some that are more expensive, and those are like kind of the frontier models that are operating really high compute, really great data sets on training. So CDance 2.5 being one of the most cutting edge ones is very expensive to run iterations with. And so CDance is kind of that one where you would be seeing, very expensive costs. Mm-hmm. But again, it's really like you can film something with an iPhone and, you've made something. But then the question is, how do you make something good? And so the same thing with these AI tools is you can type in there and get something out. And, maybe that costs you $5 or $0 or $20. The question is, like, how do you turn that into something good? And so, that takes craft and time and, focus. And, those are the things that ramp.
Getting back to the Omni, what's the average runtime, for the people considering to go, check your film festival out? What's the average runtime for most of the movies being featured?
That's a good question. I am just putting together the program over the next few days for what we're going to be showing next Friday night. So we've got Hyperphantasia is showing on Friday evening, July 3rd, here in Sydney. I think our shortest film is around 58 seconds, which is it's pretty good, pretty efficient storytelling to convey a story arc in 58 seconds. It's almost a commercial length, two commercials. The longest one of our recent ones that did come in, I think we had a film that came in that was an hour and 37 minutes.
So that's the good feature length, the comfortable movie night sort of thing. That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, but Luke, would you be you know, there's probably a lot of movies you watch, and there's probably a lot of movies you turn off.
Oh,
You know, so
there's some I love to hate, and I'll admit that I really haven't seen any good AI movies. I've seen a lot of crap, which is just basically those micro dramas that pop up on things like TikTok, and you know, with what the Jenny Tower was, how you were describing her work. I think that I was going to ask you, were we going to, will they ever sort of, the human imperfections? I mean, yes, movie stars are supposed to be, amazingly good looking, but, they still have their imperfections, and, it's comforting to know that even though these crap micro shorts on TikTok, that even though they have the fantastically well rendered actors, there's somebody who's at least trying to bring some imperfection to all of this, and the nuance to the delivery of dialogue, because these micro dramas would make things like Passion say, "Hey, tone it down a little bit."
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it's interesting. Social media is a great way to share algorithmic content, and what you get is you get stuff that is base, and that level is I mean, my social media, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, these things, it feeds you, low quality content for sure. It's something that is very much in that pipeline. Surprisingly, we don't get submissions that are, that kind of. I mean, we do get low quality submissions. Don't get me wrong, but we get tons of great ones, and I would say overall, it's people who are trying to tell a story, and it's ones that are, just like you said, it's a drama, so it's telling a story arc. And some people are really good at telling a story, and some people are really not. And with filmmakers, that's a critical part of cinema.
For those people out there thinking about making their first AI film, what are some tips for those first-time filmmakers?
So I think if you're just getting started to make a film, I think the question, even before you look at a tool, is what's the story I want to tell, and what's my viewpoint, and why is this important to other people? I think a lot of films that we see, like just in general, I've looked and watched. I've judged short film competitions. I've judged television competitions. I think whenever we're watching things, we have to think of the audience, and we have to think about how we're communicating that to them. I think those ways that filmmakers reach into these tools is really, it's got to be in service of the message and in service of the story. Some of the ones, I'll give an example. One of the ones that won an award with us, this recent Hyper Fantasia, the award winners are just being announced. This award was a film by two women filmmakers from Canada, and it's called The Pornographer, and it won for best visuals. And before you get too excited, I'll just tell you that it's a beautifully rendered AI film of very close-up flowers. And it's just fantastic, and it's beautiful, and it has a little bit of a story, it has a little bit of a message, but it's primarily visual, and you can kind of understand the concept from the title and the concept from the visuals. So that's something that someone leaning into the tool, understanding what the tool's capable of, and working with it to convey a visual story that works really well. And also, I believe that work in particular had a composed musical soundtrack that was obviously written by a human, and that was that it was in joint together with that. So it was fantastic. Very happy to see that one win an award with us.
Well, that's really amazing to hear. And well, anyway, I'd like to thank you for your time and good luck with your upcoming festivals. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Luke.
Have a good one.
Hope to see you there.
Bye.
Bye.